ahead and get started here. Going to start us off, just some arm circles. While we're doing those arm circles, though, don't let those feet hang. Keep them moving. Maybe that's just heel pedals. Maybe you're side shuffling. But we do want to get moving a little bit more. And with these arm circles, go ahead, start making them wider. And once you get all the way up there a few times, go ahead, bring them back down. And then reverse. We're going backwards now. While we're going backwards, I want us to focus, as always, opening up that chest, activating those shoulder blades in the back. Every time we feel those hands go back, we're opening up and activating. Two separate areas here, guys. And of course, go ahead and make those wider. Hey, Jessica. And then bring those back small. From there, we're going to go right in to our hamstrings and chest opener. Same thing as with those circles. We're opening up that chest, activating those shoulder blades, or those muscles between their shoulder blades. And then from there, go ahead, squats. And then we're going to add in toe raise at the top. From there, guys, you'll do something we've done before. Just gonna rock back and forth on those ankles here. Back on the heels, up on the toes. Back on the heels, up on the toes. We're doing that again just to get those ankles warmed up for today. Want to feel that dorsiflexion, that plantar flexion. Make sure we're all warmed up from our heads to our toes. A few reps of those, guys, and then I want you just doing some lunges here. You can slow them down if you feel you want to get a little bit more of a stretch to start us off. If we don't think we need that stretch, we can keep a moderate pace then. Trying to avoid letting those hips sink down, especially in this warm-up position. Keeping that torso upright. From there, go ahead, spread those legs out a little bit. Go down to one side. Just open up those adductors, those inner thigh groin muscles, as well as activating the glutes with those shifts. Go ahead, bring us back up there, guys. Hip openers. From the mid side, outside. And then reverse, outside in. All right there, guys. Go ahead. Quick drink of water here. We'll be right back. We're going to get right into it. All right, guys, while you're finishing up with that water, We're gonna have a 3-part sequence. We're gonna repeat a couple times. Starting off with squats, going into some lunges, finishing off with some jumping jacks. While we're setting down those waters, I want you to just go ahead, get right into it right now. Squat time. Staying nice, low impact here, guys. Still ramping our bodies up before we get into some more faster pace, more of that cardio stuff that we're here for. While we're doing this, really focus on staying on those heels, activating those glutes as we come back up. We don't want us to get too quad heavy, especially too early in today's class. From right there, guys, once you just go in, alternating those lunges. Same thing here, guys. When we're doing these lunges, focus on keeping tension on that heel while we're keeping that torso upright. Push off from that heel to bring us up back vertical. We also want to make sure that this back heel isn't drifting off in either direction. It's staying pretty much pointed right up to the sky. And again, like we mentioned earlier, avoiding letting that hip drop down. That's going to require some deliberate glute activation on this side. Keep our bodies adducted up like that. And from right there, guys, we got jumping jacks. If we need something a little less intense, crossing. We're right into those jumping jacks or these cross. Work for full extension, either out here with those jumping jacks, getting those hands all the way up, legs pretty decently out, come back in, same thing with these diagonal crosses. Full extension at the elbow, get that up high, get that leg nice and out. Four, 3, 2, 1. I want us going right back into those squats. Again, work for full extension here at the top. Try to get it as low as we can before we start coming back up. Finishing up with these squats, right back into those lunges. And right back into those jumping jacks or these crosses. You guys decide how much we can do right now. If you want to start with the jumping jacks, then reduce some intensity as needed. That's more than all right. All right, guys, from there, we're going to ramp it up a little bit. We're going to go squat jumps here. Right up, coming back down, continuous jumping. From there, we got skips. And then after that, we got explosive side lunges here. And actually, we're just going to do one side of those at a time. If we don't want to do those explosive jumps, I want us to do squats with the calf raise. If we don't want to do those skips, we can do high knees or just marching. And if we don't want to bounce up with these side lunges, we just do normal side lunges. One side, same side Whole time we're gonna switch. But we're gonna start off with those jumps. 2, 1, jump, reload, or squats and calves. And of course, guys, if we're doing these jumps, try not to land with our legs straight. Really catch ourselves, allow ourselves to go back down before we come back into that jump. And if we're doing those calf raises, really extend at those calves. 3, 2, and 1. Alternating skips, high knees. You can play around with the speed there. You can take it almost from a march to a high knee jog, or really get going. I'm gonna let you guys decide that while you're at home. And there's no problem with going from here, just slowing it down either. That's perfectly acceptable. And then from there, guys, one side up, or if we want to go a little bit slower still, right here. You can do one side the whole time, switching over, but right now you guys got these. Same thing as always. If you feel you want to start off with a more plyometric explosive and then regress it down to just those side lunges, perfectly okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, other side. As we start to fatigue a little bit, guys, if we're side lunges, no bounce. Try to keep that pressure on that heel. Versus if we're on the side here, bouncing off, we're going to feel a little bit more toe action to get us back up. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right back to our jumps here. Or, of course, squat, toe raise. And then right there, back to those high knees, those skips, or these marches here. If we're doing our marches, really focus on getting that knee up. We have more control of our muscles now, so we can really focus on getting those up. Versus if we're going super fast, they might start to drift down a little bit. But we have the ability to be more conscious right here. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 into these side lunges. Again, off the toe if we're doing the bounce, off the heel if we're taking it slower. Want to stay in control, and our heel is going to get us more of that glute activation versus that toe. You might feel a little bit more quad, but it's also allowing us to get a little bit more explosive. Right there, you guys. 15 seconds on this side yet. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Just switch it over there, guys. Less than 15 here, you guys. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to be at the base of my mat here, guys. As always, we're going to do 3 caterpillars out, ending on the ground here. On that third one, we're just going to stay down. Rotate over. Got 2 exercises here. We're going to start us off with some crunches. And we're going to begin in 2, 1. Crunch up. Once we feel those shoulder blades hit the mat, re-engage coming on up. Let's try to keep our hands on our chest so we're not pulling on our neck too much, causing any unnecessary strain. Ten seconds, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I want those hands underneath the low back. Then we're just going to do some leg ins right here. Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You guys can caterpillar up 3 times. Once you hit that third time, go ahead, stay up, get a drink of water. We'll be back here in just a second. All right, as you guys are finishing up with that drink of water, I'm going to show you what we're doing here next. Single leg, straight-legged deadlift, 1 leg up here. I want us to hinge at the hip. While we're hinging, our back stays nice and straight, focusing on just the movements here at the hip. We're then going to switch over. Same thing, other side. We're going to take that hinge movement and crank it up with some windmills. Here in just a second, that's going to be our first segment back in. Joining me back here in about 10 seconds here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back stays straight, hinge down, come back up. If you don't really have the balance for that, and you'd rather stay with 2 legs, that's quite all right. You'll just be doing it both legs twice a time, but that's quite all right. But if we want to try out that single leg, we got single leg here just to start off. And of course, if you need a toe tap, more than acceptable throughout. And from there, switch if we're doing just 1 leg. Of course, if we decide to do single leg, we're still just going hinging at the hips, back stays straight. And then right there, guys, go ahead, raise yourselves up, arms out. Keep with that hinge. If you need to start a little bit slower, that's okay. We want to keep our backs straight here, not allowing them to roll over. We will have some rotation. We want to keep our backs, our torso nice and sturdy here, guys, while we're doing these windmills. Go ahead, guys, right yourselves back up here. I want you to do a couple lunges. After you get about 3 on each side, I'm going to have you make a decision whether you want to do jumps or just some skiers here. A little less impact And of course, if you're not really comfortable with either one of those, you don't really want to leave the ground, feel free to just stick with some lunges. But we got those right now. If we're doing these skiers, make sure our arms are getting involved. Try to keep that nice 90-degree. Don't allow just a natural swing. Keep it disciplined there as we're doing those skiers. Two, one. Next here, guys, do a couple side lunges, and we're going to ramp this up. Same thing. Skaters. Before we jump over that next foot, let's make sure we have our balance secured so we have a nice level ground to push off. As you're going, try to see if you can't get a little bit farther out or go a little bit faster while you're doing it. Again, you can either start small, speed it up, or go for distance. "15 seconds left here, guys. Then you got a water break. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, grab a sip of water. We'll be back here just a sec. As you guys are getting finished up with that water break, go ahead, set next down to the ground that you're at, and then join me here after a couple caterpillars, about 3, just right down here on the side. We'll be starting this next segment here in 5 seconds. We got some penguins. 3, 2, 1. Penguins. Again, try to tap the outside or maybe the inside of our heels here. Activating those obliques here, working on that rotational movement. I'm sorry, those bending movements, not rotational. The oblique does help with both of those. About 15 seconds left here, guys. Five, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I'm gonna have you guys facing down now. 2 options, as always, we want to protect that low back. So we're either gonna do bird dogs, or if we don't like that for our knees, we can come down here, Supermans, keeping that chest off the ground, arms off the ground, and those thighs, the knees off the ground here, squeezing our glutes and our low back to keep us in that position. We're gonna go ahead and start that in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you're doing those Supermans, you are holding though. We have a minute. If you're doing these bird dogs, you are alternating again for a minute. Getting that nice straight line from our wrist down to our ankle. Extending that hand out, pressing that heel back. Halfway here, 30 seconds left. "15 seconds for you guys right there. Then we're going to conclude up with a minute plank. Less than 10, guys. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I want you guys transitioning right away into this plank here. Shoulder, straight line down the ankle. 3, 2, 1. You guys are holding this plank for 1 minute. If you feel that you need a break, I'm just going to go ahead and say, let's take it. I'm going to give you guys updates at 30, 40, and 50 seconds. I want everyone re-engaged at 50. That being said, we just passed 30 seconds. For those of us still going, check our alignments here. Make sure we still have a straight line from our shoulders to our hips to our ankles. And we just passed 40. Everybody should be re-engaged right now. 50 seconds, 10 to go here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, relax there, guys. Grab your water next to you, take a quick sip. But while you're doing it, I want you here in this lunge position, focusing on a hip flexor stretch. Should be able to do this while we're drinking water here. If you need this hip flexor stretch to maybe be a little bit more intense, feel free to rotate into this upper leg. You can also try leaning over to this side, same side as this up knee. And if neither one of those work or a combination, you can try slightly rotating your torso back, but I would be gentle with that one because we do have a hip bone here that our muscle crosses, and we don't want that to be overstretched over it. So do try rotating and leaning before you try leaning back too much. Again, great time to be sipping some water here at the same time. No need for us to just be stretching. If some water helps us out, that's perfect. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go ahead, switch sides for me, guys. Jessica, thanks for stopping in. And of course, guys, if we haven't yet, make sure that we're throwing a message in so that we can count attendance in the comments there. And from there, go ahead, guys, drop it down to the ground, legs stretched right down the middle here. Take that, stretch it on over the other or one side. And from there, switch it over to the other side here. Go ahead, we're gonna find ourselves on our back here. One leg comes up over that other knee, hook our hands under that bottom knee, pull in, and then let's roll out this ankle at the same time. So we're stretching this glute right here and stretch or rolling out that ankle on the far side, guys. And from there, go ahead, set that down, switch sides, same thing. You can rotate that ankle clockwise and then counterclockwise. And go ahead, sit ourselves up right here, concluding off four-way neck stretch here, guys. Taking that chin down to the chest. Raise it up, tilting back, chin to the sky. Back down, one ear, same side shoulder, side of our neck here, guys. That's the focus. Raise it up, other side, same thing, stretching the other side of our neck.